Hello and good evening. Welcome to the 12th week of the Marea and Friends concert series. We are very grateful and excited to be here tonight with the Akropolis Reed Quintet.
Yeah, and so this is the halfway point of the Marea and Friends concert series. And just a reminder to purchase your $5 virtual ticket and fill out our survey about your feedback on the episodes. And both of those links are in the description of this video.
And we had the wonderful and enriching opportunity to work with the Akropolis Reed Quintet about 1 year ago, and they have been a really big inspiration to us as a duo and really exhibit the golden standard of chamber music.
So we have a really exciting program in store, and we really hope you enjoy.
So welcome to week 12 of the Marea and Friends concert series, and we are so grateful to be joined tonight with members of the Akropolis Reed Quintet. And could you just tell us a little bit about where you are right now and before we start asking some of the questions?
Absolutely. Tim, why don't you go first?
Okay. So I am in Greeley, Colorado right now, where I teach at the University of Northern Colorado. Usually, we would be all in person, but we are like a lot of other universities, very remote. And so all of my teaching this semester and all of my coaching this semester is being done online. And I'm having students submit videos and record videos, and people are making their own split screen videos to submit to. So it's a time of exploration and creativity for everybody. And then I'm here with my cat.
Oh, is your cat around?
He might join in at some point. He just kind of like to pounce.
We encourage cats.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dogs.
Yes.
Dogs.
Okay, well then we'll get right on that. Come here, Stanley.
Oh.
Come on, don't be shy now. You're not usually shy.
Oh my gosh, so
beautiful.
cute.
Hello,
so
Stanley.
Stanley has been going like in your bedroom at our house and like looking around for Shino and
Oh, well, here he is.
there he is.
Oh.
Good
He came up
timing,
for Stanley.
Botto.
Matt and I are just at our home in Northville, Michigan, which is about halfway between Ann Arbor and Detroit in Southeast Michigan. And we've been doing everything pretty much from various spots in our house. And Akropolis has been engaging in these little bubble projects and to kind of do all of our activities and get together in a safe manner. So Tim actually spent about the last month here out here with us and did everything from our upstairs room. And so we're just hanging and trying to be productive at home, which, we worked from home before, and this is definitely still kind of feels a little bit of the same, but it's a whole new kind of mental ball game as far as how to keep the momentum going, especially when you're not out there playing concerts all the time. So it's been a different kind of challenge, but so far so good.
Yeah. I know it seems like just yesterday we were watching you perform in Sprague and you were coaching us as like the first time we were playing together.
Yeah,
we're a real coach.
right?
Yeah.
You guys have come so far since then. Like everything that you're doing with this series, and I never knew the two of you sang.
Oh.
And it's so. Every time I watch your videos, I'm like, when's the singing gonna happen? When is it? It's great. It's so great, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Well, you guys have been a really big inspiration to us.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you guys have been together for so many years, and it's like, and you're all in different areas of the country. Is that right? I guess
Yeah.
for the most part. And yeah, and you still make it work. It's so awesome. Because initially I was going to be in Chicago this year, so we're like, if Akropolis can do it, then like we can do it long distance. So I know we can make the long distance relationship work. Yeah. Yeah. The first piece we'll be playing tonight will be the second movement of Jolivet's Sonatine for oboe and bassoon. And we played the first movement of this on week 9 of Marea and Friends. So if you want to hear that, you can head over to our Facebook page and check that out. And tonight we'll be playing the second movement, which is called recitative. And recitative is a musical dialogue that can be found in opera traditionally. And in this case, it is a dialogue between an oboe and bassoon. And when we're playing this movement, we really think of the oboe and bassoon kind of embodying two old friends that are talking that have a lot of things to say. And sometimes the lines are in agreement, sometimes they are in disagreement. So listen for that and listen for the variance in articulations and a lot of different sound worlds that are possible that Jolivet creates with just two instruments. Yeah, so we really hope you enjoy the second movement of Jolivet's Sonatine.
the next question, we're just going to ask you, like, what is your favorite part about playing in Akropolis? And I know it's a very general question, but maybe if you could just answer it one by one, or however you want to answer this, fine.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Why don't you? I'll start for this one.
Okay. Usually, if someone needs to say something, I'll say something that's like 80% effective, which is sometimes better than nothing, but not always. For me, I think the best part is that the group, for me personally, allows me to do what comes most natural to me, and that I'm sort of best at as a musician, and also as a just as a person in general, in terms of like being able to create something that I and my colleagues can have ownership over, and to have that kind of responsibility, and to have that kind of self-motivation. The whole format of the group really kind of plays to those kinds of strengths of mine. I work better in that kind of format than I do in some more like traditional working environments. And musically, as a classical saxophonist, I am much more comfortable in a world in which I'm asked to do like a lot of different kinds of things, and to play with different instruments, and than I am in like playing a lot of serious like contemporary saxophone music, or a lot of the other career paths, or even in academia and things like that, more traditional career paths that a saxophonist would have. So the best part, is just being able to that it all kind of really seems to be working around things that I enjoy doing. And then it's patient, and it gives me space to continue to work on those things, that the other things I mentioned that like I know I need to do better at. It provides space to get better at those things. So it's really a great great thing for me in that way. So
for me, it's just first off, just strictly speaking, musically, this ensemble and everything that we've chosen to do has just pushed me so much as a clarinetist and an artist and a creative mind. I think having the power to be able to decide what you want to do musically with your career is just something I'm so grateful for, because essentially if we're not happy or satisfied with how we're doing something, Akropolis just pushes us all so much to be better and do more and pursue the artistic things that we know will fulfill us and make a difference. And it's been so cool to see how all of that artistry has changed and evolved over the last decade, right? It started, when we look back at it, it started almost so simply. And it was just like this thing that we did at school that we played arrangements, and it was so much fun. And now it's grown into something completely out of our own minds and our own vision, and the five of us just keeping to push that artistic boundary. And that's what for me is so fulfilling for it, is that it challenges me musically and creatively absolutely every day that I get up. And also along the lines of that is that it never feels like it's stuck. If anything feels stuck about it, we have the power to change stuff. We have the power to evolve. We have the power to go in different directions and do things that we've never done before. And that's also something that I definitely don't want to take for granted, because I know that, so many musicians end up in a situation where they play the same kind of stuff and do the same kind of stuff over and over again. And I'm just so grateful that we have an opportunity here with Akropolis that we can just do whatever we want. And the five of us push each other to think of so many crazy and amazing things to do. And that just makes us better and better and love it even more. So yeah, that's my favorite part of it.
I guess for me, it's everything. I echo everything that Carrie said, and just how the just musically it's so satisfying, and always knowing that there's going, we don't know what we're going to be playing in a year or 2 years, because we're always getting, everything is always changing in terms of our repertoire. We're always doing something new. And friends and colleagues of mine who don't have necessarily creative control, talk about that. And it's really made me realize how much of a gift that is, to be able to say, oh, I have creative freedom with what I do. And so it's just so wonderful to have that. And then non-musically, it's just great to be in a community of these 4 other people, and just really just having these relationships and having these friendships that, I always joke that it's the longest relationship I've ever been in, because
it totally is.
We've been together for 11 years, and we have fun, we have a good time, we fight, there are quarrels that happen, and then we discuss, and then we talk about things afterwards. And we make sure that, if someone is unhappy or upset with something that is going on in the organization, we talk about it. And so it's really taught me a lot of skills in just outside of being a musician in general. It's taught me a lot of skills about just being a human.
Hello, everybody. The first video you're going to see here is a piece called Circus Music by Ton Terdost, a Dutch composer. This was written in the early 1990s, and you're going to see the first movement performed here.
And this was actually recorded way back in 2012, so right at the beginning of Akropolis' existence, and it was one of the first videos we ever made for our online web premiere series, where we would actually take pieces of music and specifically premiere them online for an online audience, which really just resonates with everything that everyone is doing right now. And it's really hard to believe that we've been doing it since 2012, which is amazing. And so we shot this video entirely ourselves. We had all these different cameras that we were running around and placing and trying to really emulate a highly produced performance video. And so that's what you're going to see here in this video.
Also, you'll see that we're performing from memory, because I think at the time we were at the very beginning of preparing for some competitions that we were going to do from memory, which isn't something that we really do anymore, but just another little time capsule moment there. So anyway, we hope you enjoy. Thanks.
With Akropolis, it's such a big part of your lives. And how do you sort of distinguish between personal life and then Akropolis for like professional life? And I know that like several of you guys probably, you teach and have other things outside of Akropolis too. So I guess how do you manage everything and kind of create a balanced sort of life? And also a little bit of follow up on that. Like, I feel like one of the best things about chamber music is like if you find a great group that's very cohesive is you're making music with your closest friends and they know your strengths, they know your weaknesses, you can be vulnerable with them, and obviously like you're married, like you know each other's.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you balance that in the group professional setting? Yeah.
Yes. I think to zoom in on like a day-to-day, on a very day-to-day right now, it's incredibly easy for Matt and I to just be entirely consumed with Akropolis work, right? And we're all at home, we're working from home, and our work is at home, and we're not touring and performing concerts right now. So everything is happening in our house, and it's very, very easy to just have your career and your musical goals and that desire to completely consume you. And I think especially when COVID started and everybody was forced to like meld these two parts of their lives, everybody realized just how essential it is to make sure that you have to schedule that time for your personal wants and goals and everything that you want to do, just completely separate from your career and your job. And I definitely, if you haven't thought of that separation yet, because you know your career is just starting out and you want to hustle and you want to make things happen, basically what we've seen is the harder and faster you run without addressing that, the sooner you're going to burn out and basically no longer love the work that you're doing. So encouraging that, separation. And essentially when you're in your own group, you're running your own business, that means it is up to you to make that separation. No one else is going to do it for you. And if you don't do it, you're just going to get so consumed and sucked into all of the work that you're doing. Yeah. And so it's incredibly important that, when Akropolis work time is done, it's done, and we definitely are like, we'll walk around town with our dogs and we'll be like talking about something. And then, all of a sudden one of us will just be like, hey, maybe like no work on this walk, and be like, oh yeah, okay, and it'll just kind of go from there. And it's nice that we have each other to kind of have that little check and balance system as well. So it's really important that you make that for yourself. I fortunately think we were really well suited for this quarantine lockdown situation because we had been working from home on our business and doing this before this happened. So we knew kind of how to separate that out mentally. And for us, that's just been the key in making sure that, you know, the two are very connected. And obviously we have a lot of passion and desire to make Akropolis the best it can be, but at the same time, it's really healthy to be able to address what we want outside of that too. And that just makes the Akropolis work more fulfilling, and that makes your personal life more fulfilling too. So
Yeah, to speak to that feeling and sense of needing to hustle essentially just like right after school. And because I remember when I finished grad school, I had this plan of, okay, I'm going to have a freelance career and I'm going to have Akropolis and things are going to be great. And then I learned that, you know, having that I remember experiencing that on the freelance side of things, experiencing that, oh my gosh, I have to be talking to everybody. I have to have that hustle. And amidst all that, I kind of lost it became very stressful. And so I just remember thinking, okay, how can I make, while also being very fulfilling, and at the same time when, you know, certain things did happen and certain things did work out. And I'm very grateful to the people who helped me with those. And so, but I remember just thinking, okay, the hustle of, you know, trying to do everything to pay the bills, and then also trying to maintain trying to work out the scheduling, making sure that people were getting answers as soon as they needed to get answers. And, you know, because in freelancing, if you can't agree to a gig in 2 to 3 days, then that gig might go to somewhere else. And so sometimes, because of all the hoops you have to go through, that's not necessarily reality. So I decided that was not that hustle kind of made me realize I didn't really have time for me to look at what I wanted outside of performing. And, you know, I was fortunate to land a position where there's not that there isn't any hustle or work, but it does allow it's now allowed me to realize how important that space is between your professional life and your personal life.
Yeah.
Eventually I did have to take stock of my values and what I want in you know, what I value in my life, not just my career. And, you know, those things were, you know, musical excellence for sure. Just having a bunch of variety. I like doing a bunch of different things. But just having those relationships were very, very important to me. And so that kind of now being away from that sense of hustle for the, you know, past three years now, it's made me realize how important it is to have that separation.
Yeah. What you just said really resonates, I feel like, with both of us, because we just finished we're in our 3rd year of our master's, but like we're about to be kind of in that post-master's hustle, trying to rocket launch our career. And it's kind of an awkward time with COVID, but like I feel like making that list of priorities is something that I want to do tomorrow, and like think about, because we're constantly consumed by, but in the best possible way, because it's what we love, and really trying to make that separation of personal and professional.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I feel like with the two of you, you know, because you're so good at what you do, and people know that you love to work together, clearly, and, you know, it creates a really good product for people when things start rolling again, to probably, you know, might think of me like, oh, I know that they play really well, they work really well together, they look like somebody I'm gonna want to and spend time with. Let's take the lot, you know.
One little thing that I'll add is, especially in that middle period when Akropolis was growing, we did not put the pressure on Akropolis to be the income source for us, but we still knew that it was what we wanted to do at the end of the day. You know, Matt and I had this like bigger picture goal of like, okay, if we can get out of our day jobs and maybe one day this could help us earn even like half-time living or whatever it was, and that was the vision. And once you kind of you know, liberate yourself from this kind of constraint, then it becomes, well, how can I support myself financially in the best low stress way possible that allows me to still almost fully devote myself to my artistic pursuits, rather than like threading your artistic pursuits to absolutely everybody who might want it, and, you know, taking gigs for not a lot of money or no money just for like connections and things like that. And that really kind of helped center us as well, you know. And I definitely think that's not talked about a lot in school. Yeah. Like it's totally fine to go get a day job for like 5 years while you're building your career, and then your career is built, and then you'll hopefully be lucky enough to start, you know, supplementing that income, and then that income is how it gets to be full time. And it totally doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to actually make that career for yourself if that's what you want to do. And I think so often when we graduate school, we just think like, okay, I'm going to get all these gigs and it's going to be my full-time living, and I'm off, you know. And so I absolutely think that there's so much joy in being able to find that money that you need to live and live comfortably from something else that doesn't take away your brain space and creativity to do the art that you actually want to do without, you know, compromise. And I think that that's really important as well. So yeah, just a little thing to throw on this pile of stuff that I think is important.
Hello, this video is going to be of Akropolis performing the third movement of a work that was composed for us called Sprocket. This is composed by Stephen Snowden, a wonderful composer based in Boston, and it features a special percussion instrument designed and built by a metal fabrication artist in Detroit whose name is Juan Martinez.
And so this third movement is called A Little Janky, and you're going to get that right at the beginning, because actually this special percussion instrument is this rideable percussion bicycle that you'll see our guest percussionist Zach Brew perform right at the start of the movement. And this video was shot from our live premiere performance at Wasserman Projects, which is a modern art gallery in Detroit, which is where we're based. And so this video is also something that shows just how much we've evolved and changed from this first video you saw in 2012, which was circus music, to where we are right now. We are doing so many more collaborative projects. We're really trying to push the envelope of what the Reed Quintet is capable of and what we do as musicians too. And in this video, we also hired a professional film crew to come in and capture all of the different angles and moments during this live premiere. So it's a big step up and upgrade from when we were running around back in 2012, moving cameras all around for ourselves. So we hope you enjoy this third movement of Sprocket called A Little Janky by Stephen Snowden.
And then on a little bit of a different line, I was wondering about for rehearsals, and I mean, obviously when things are a little bit more normal, when there are a lot of different ideas on a musical phrase and there's a lot of opinions floating around, how do you settle to decide one thing to do? Like, what are your thoughts?
Yes.
Well, the first rehearsing and having a good relationship and building a positive environment in which the best music can occur is also another thing that is different for everybody, and there's a lot of different ways to dice it up and talk about it. But if you're going to have in our experience, a successful and the most productive rehearsal possible, including how to get through disagreements the quickest, how to get to consensus as quickly as possible. We found that it starts with how you build context for the rehearsal, how you frame what you're there to do before you get there. So the degree to which everyone is prepared, what preparation means in that particular situation, which is different in every situation. What do you need to accomplish in the time you have? How much time do you have? Why is it such that you have that amount of time? Were other amounts of time considered? And if they were, why were they not utilized? Why is this the right amount of time? Why are we rehearsing on this day? Was this day chosen because it was the best time to be doing this relative for everybody's fitness, mentally and physically, for whatever we're rehearsing for? These things allow you to get into a rehearsal, and it ends up while answering most of the questions that might come up. So then in a rehearsal, it comes down to, once we understand why we're doing this and why we're here and everything that goes into the moment of us being together, that creates the priorities that then take precedent when you have to make decisions. So some decisions that have to be made quickly because they're not the kinds of things that you may have time for in that moment. Other things immediately become issues where you can and should spend more time. So the first question you have to ask yourself, if there's ever something that people artistically might disagree on, is this something we can afford to dive into deeply right now? If it isn't, what is a method for solving it quickly that will make everyone mostly happy, considering that we all know why we didn't have time for it in this moment, right? And then if we do have time for it, why is it so important that we go into this, and how can we resolve it relatively quickly with everybody having a say? And so then if you do get into one of those kind of situations, really for us, the only way to solve it is that everybody is heard. If someone has an idea, we have to try it. And from that, the decision is based on, is everybody comfortable executing it? So it can be the greatest idea, but if someone feels they just can't do it for some reason, then it's not going to work. And then can we modify it to a way which both is executable, and then second, sounds good, like it's a best representation of who we are as artists, because it's allowing everybody to do things that they're good at on their instruments. And after you get through those first two things, there might be, in our experience, very rarely, there might be still some artistic difference. And that artistic difference, at that point, people have to have grace and respect for each other. So at some point, someone is going to do something they don't necessarily believe in completely, and they have to understand that that's in the service of someone else's happiness and what someone else loves, and that what you love has to have to do with what other people love too. That's just the bottom line. And over a period of a year, 2 years, 10 years, those things will even themselves out, right? Like people will sacrifice for you too. And that also goes into context. Context unspoken in terms of that we all respect each other's opinions. That's also, very important. So
well, that also kind of sparked my interest in hearing about, like, when you're talking about subjectively and aesthetically, or even objectively, like, how do you address things as a group in terms of, okay, like, I mean, someone's about intonation, or things are rushing or dragging. I've kind of found like my mission as a chamber musician is to not really talk about things in that sort of terms, and try to find creative ways to describe those things in any chamber situation that still gets the point across. Because I feel like when someone says something like, oh, you're rushing, you're dragging, like someone kind of automatically gets in like in a defensive shell that like they don't want to play that way. So like, do you have any like strategies for that? And I feel like that, like, for everyone who's viewing, like even in any professional setting, like just like in a way that you can talk to your colleagues in a way that gets people open and ready to create art.
I think one of the great benefits of Akropolis is the five of us can be incredibly direct with each other without it getting under our skin, being taken personally. We could have very intense arguments and conversations in rehearsal about very direct things that if probably an outsider was looking in on it, it might sound like a personal attack or anything, but like it is essential to be able to get the best out of everybody, to be very candid with people, and to not beat around the bush about what you think is happening, and then to see how everybody else sees what's happening as well, right? Because we have had exact moments like that where I'll feel like something is slowing down and Tim will feel like it's speeding up, and we have completely opposite perspectives and we're like, what is going on here, But you have to be direct about the thing that you think is happening, or else, you're just gonna keep wasting time in rehearsal, essentially.
I guess just a tag on everything that's been said is to just remember that if someone says something to you, or you say something that does seem like a direct sort of, I guess, attack. I don't want to say the word attack. Criticism. Yeah. Like, oh, know that, or just assume, if it's the person saying it to you, that it's in the best interest of the music, of the group's statement of what the composer wrote down. So, or always in service of the music. It's not ever really an ego thing, or it's in combination to serve the music and just to serve the betterness of the group.
Yeah. That's
There's always a larger picture at hand, even if the person who's saying it doesn't mean it like that, just assume that they mean it like that.
So as we've discussed tonight about the importance of group dynamics and just really sticking together through it all, we have reached our final song of the evening, and this is a cover that you are probably familiar with, and it's called Rather Be by the group Clean Bandit.
And this song was released in 2014, which is a really symbolic year for both Amelia and I, because that was when we were just starting out our undergrad. And it was a time that we were exactly where we wanted to be. And it was a time where we were doing everything that we could have imagined. And now in this time during the pandemic, when we're all stuck at home and there's a lot of people that we would rather be with, and there's a lot of people that we would like to be seeing right now, it's really important to find presence in being with the people that you're with right now. And Amelia and I had the inspiration for choosing this song and putting it on the series one night when Amelia was dropping me off from one of our late nights of Marea rehearsal, and we just had about a 40-minute car dance party. And at that moment, we really felt that there was no place that we would rather be than jamming out in the car together. So enjoy this double read rendition of Rather Be.
We're 1,000 miles from comfort. We have traveled land and sea. But as long as you are with me, there's no place I'd rather be. I would wait forever, exalted in the sea. As long as I am with you, my heart continues to beat. With every step we take, Kyoto to the bay, strolling so casually. We're different and the same, gave you another name, switch up the batteries. If you gave me a chance, I would take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it. Know with all of your heart you can't shame me. When I am with you, there's no place I'd rather be. We staked out on a mission to find our inner peace, make it everlasting, so nothing's incomplete. It's easy being with you, sacred simplicity. As long as we're together, there's no place I'd rather be. With every step we take, Kyoto to the bay, strolling so casually. We're different and the same, gave you another name, switch up the batteries. If you gave me a chance, I would take it. It's a shot in the dark, but I'll make it. Know with all of your heart you can't shame me. When I am with you, there's no place I'd rather be. No, 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 no place I'd rather be. No, 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 no place I'd rather be. No, 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 no place I'd rather be.
place I'd rather be.
How do you stay motivated and inspired in this virtual world these days?
Yeah, great.
That's a great question.
Great question. And so Ryan and Tim have college students that they teach the bassoon and the oboe respectively, and I teach a class of variety of music majors at Michigan State, a sort of a music entrepreneurship course. The students are involved and interested in all sorts of different careers, and then Carrie will do a similar thing in later, and then Andrew has high school students that he teaches, and to begin by acknowledging across the board that you will struggle with this right now. This is not an easy time for anyone. It is normal right now to have problems that you haven't had before in your life, to have feelings and responses physically and emotionally in ways that you haven't before, and to first, I think, listen to what your body is telling you, and listen to what your behavior and your reactions to the world is telling you. So to notice what is going on in your life and into you, and to record it in some way. So to record it by either, you mentioned that you journal, so to reflect on it, or to talk to someone about it. Those are kind of your options. So this is the acknowledgement of it that's really important. So I think to just start off by saying we experienced that, and the young people that we have been working with over the last several months through this, all the ones I've noticed have dealt with it. And we also work with high school students in Detroit who are in another very unique situation, and we work with music composition on them, and so everybody's dealing with it. For Akropolis, what is most important to us in being motivated right now is that we are using this time to grow. We are using it as a time to change who we are. So we're actually looking at it as the time of the most radical change and growth and expansion as a group and as an organization we've ever gone through, as almost as a means of counteracting what the most logical thing to do, which would be to either go into defense or into a shell of some kind, or to run away in some way. And what our expectations are for ourselves is to, when things are quote unquote back to normal, which also recognizing that there is no moment. So recognizing that there is no, it is a very gradual. You won't know when it's happened, and then when it is normal, it's a new normal. So to first acknowledge, and to also acknowledge, like there is no back to normal. It is your job, and the way we've undertaken this whole situation is to say it is our job to change the way we're doing, to acknowledge what is going to come, so that we're prepared for it, and we can actually help shape how people respond to us once they're ready to respond to us again. And we have an opportunity to tell them, this is the world we want to see. This is the world we want to make for ourselves. And when you, the rest of the world, wider world, are ready to engage with us, be it performing community, the educational community, whatever it may be, even funding opportunities, whatever they are, that it's our job to tell them how we have changed, what we're all about, and what we expect the world to be doing now.
Opportunity to change and grow and adapt in a new way that you never would have had before in your life, because we were all on some semblance of an autopilot before, whether we realize it or not. You know, we were really like, the wheels were churning and everything was humming along nicely, but like, was that the best kind of humming along? And this has really allowed us to ask ourselves that question and answer it for ourselves, which has just been the best thing. And then on like a micro day-to-day level, when it is sometimes a struggle to accomplish things, to practice, to, you know, be working towards something and you not knowing when you're going to like perform in person again for like real human people. I think some of the things that help me the most is if I feel like at the end of the day, I just didn't accomplish anything and it's a total lack of motivation on my end, I will like sit down and I will make a list of the things that I actually did do that day. And it could be like, I baked, a pizza, or I did laundry, or I went for a walk, or I called and talked with my mom, or like I did, a good half hour on this fundamental thing on the clarinet, or like I threw out all my reeds that were terrible, or whatever it was. And even if it's not like that big goal thing that, you're working towards, recognizing that we do a lot every day and we do a lot of really important stuff that is essential. And that's really helped me kind of celebrate all these like little wins throughout this process, and to recognize that motivation ebbs and flows. And if one day you think you're not as productive as you should have been, or you didn't practice, or you didn't do something, you did other things that were right for that moment. And recognizing that and celebrating that is how motivation snowballs, and it makes you recognize that, maybe I do something more the next day, or maybe that inspires me to do something else because I feel accomplished in this moment right now. So celebrating those little wins is really what I think is important on a micro day-to-day level that helps you, not feel like your big picture goals are completely unobtainable, which I know it can feel like that right now. So that's been the biggest thing for me.
I feel like I had a little win day, so that really just, I felt that.
Even if all you do is tie 3 blanks in a day, that is a big success.
That's a great day.
My computer.
I think that if you're ever in a moment where you do lose sight of the big picture, of the small successes and everything, try to and then when you remember it again, write it down. I would say whenever you have these big goals, just to write the goal down somewhere, and then you can put it somewhere where you can see it every day. So, I have a big corkboard. I have a corkboard on my fridge, and then a whiteboard on my fridge, and then a big white and corkboard in my practice room.
That must be an oboe thing. Amelia has one right over there.
It's great.
Sorry.
And I mean, so I just, I have a couple goals just written on there, just big overarching things. And, there are things that I see every day. So I always have them in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But that's what's and every little thing I do, whether it be related to those goals or not, they are contributing to the overall happiness of that day, which even if you end your day and you end it with, you have a sense of positivity and you have this like, that was a good day. That's fantastic. Yeah. I think that, that is something that we can all strive towards as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just wholesome in the end. Yeah.
I know. This has been so much fun. Thank you
so much
for being a part of this.
Yeah.
Our pleasure.
Yeah. And these are all really important things, I feel like, for us to hear and for everyone to hear during this time.
Thank you so much for watching tonight. We have had so much fun putting this together with members of Akropolis, and next week, we'll actually be taking a week off. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. And we'll be back the week after that with clarinetist Graham Steele Johnson.
And he's a really good friend of ours, so it's going to be a treat to have him on this series. And just a couple of reminders, if you haven't had the chance, there are links that are posted below about a survey and about purchasing $5 virtual tickets. Your donations to the concert series really means the world to us because we are putting our hearts and souls into this every single week for the past 12 weeks. Crazy.
Yeah, so we hope that you enjoy your evening and eat lots of food next week.
Yes. Thank you once again to the Akropolis Reed Quintet and everyone that has been a part of this series so far. Halfway point.
Yeah. All right, well, have a great evening.